Hi everyone, I'm starting my talk on test case management tool selection in JIRA. Thank you for coming. I am Losha, I'm a tester. I work in a telecom company. The outline of my presentation is also a checklist on tool selection in test case management. The first item is description of a problem setting. In other words, you need to clearly figure out the terms of a problem that you identified. Then objectives and selection criteria. And the third item is to verify your selections in a test environment. See what's good or bad in it, what potential problems are inherent in a given tool, and based on the metrics that you collected, make your choice. Perhaps you'll have to align a budget or have your budget approved. And the final item is the pitfalls or bottlenecks, and we could look at import-export cases and feedback collection, feedback from peers who use this tool on a daily basis, to make sure that you selected the right tool. So what I'm going to start with is problem setting. Problematic conditions that I confronted in a telecom company. This is a product-based telecom company. We produce a pretty big lineup, about 50 products every 3 months, and there are a lot of employees who are involved in the life cycle of product. We also are subjected to an external audit by a European company, so it's important that we keep records of testing results and reports. So you need to have some confirmation materials like screens and so on. Sometimes we do big test cases with a lot of templates. To make things clearer, this is the amount of work we do. There are 25 of us in a unit, and we're split into 3 teams. We have a template project, which we do in parallel, up to 400 test cases for 5 days by 4 people. And we also have new projects, up to 3,000 test cases for 15 days by 2 people. We previously utilized this schematic: JIRA, Test Link, Test Case Management, and Office. We required Office simply because report generation in Test Link didn't satisfy our management, and we had to spend testing effort to do the editing. Also, we often face lack of necessary tests, and we don't have proper linkages with other units. Also, the company didn't provide us with resources to support TestLink in an updated way or to integrate it with JIRA. That is why we decided to modify the tool and to switch to something more modern, more convenient, something that would curtail our time and help us work more efficiently. So we crafted objectives. The objectives basically reflected what we lacked in the existing structure and what we wanted to add and perhaps leave some of the good stuff we had. First of all, it should be a supportable solution, not a ready-made solution, because the company didn't release the budget for integration and support. There will be no internal resources for that. So we're going to stick to ready-made solutions. Plus, it should be the access role should be easily controlled to make it more transparent from related to offices that we collaborate with. Usual interface, or something that we are used to. Those who worked with TestLink should know that there is hierarchy of folders, subfolders, cases nestled inside. We are used to that and we would like to stick to it. This is important to have this tree-like structure of cases. Also, reports should be generated upon required metrics, so we wouldn't waste time modifying them. And since we have a peculiar testing procedure, it's not just Scrum, and the tool to be selected should be compliant with the existing procedure. In other words, there should be flexibility in it. And for auditing and record keeping, we need to be sure to confirm updated result. Based on these objectives, a solution was formulated. Many are JIRA users, and there is a slogan available on the website that JIRA is a tool for open and transparent management of issues. Therefore, we thought it would be a good idea to use planning for JIRA for open and transparent management of issues and cases. This way, we will avoid integration of supplementary systems, and this would be a common tool. I haven't confronted plugins before, so I assumed that JIRA plugin could cover some of the items here, so it will be a supportable solution. And it would have access role management at least, because access role is available in JIRA, plus report generation on required metrics, plus nestling also works well with JIRA, but those were just assumptions, and we like the idea with plugins a lot. I started viewing those plugins, and these are the candidates as of the end of 2018, most popular candidates on the marketplace. Zephyr has recently upgraded to 4th and then 5th version. QA Space plugin is free of charge, others are paid. So I started checking them out, and I faced some of the difficulties. The first issue was insufficient description of document. I mean, in fact, it's written pretty well. There are user cases, how to make a case, how to make a cycle, but what it lacked is certain information into whether or not this plugin would be suitable for your job. So I had to install each of them manually and run them to see if they were what we needed. Some of the plugins were tailored to test projects in JIRA environment. I didn't like that because we are not used to that. We have one JIRA project, and within that JIRA project we test a lot of different products, so this is a big minus. And some of the plugins didn't support JIRA versions. The company tries to keep their products updated, and some plugins were not customizable, which was an issue. I mean, it was as it was, which is not very good. I mean, there should be more flexibility in the tool. After that, a table of criteria was developed. These are most important criteria which helped us arrive at objective solutions. You can't read all of that, but it will be available in shared space. Keeping the updated result for testing, a test case should include graphical steps, and it's difficult to make your way around information that is not graphically represented. A tree-like structure and reporting and intermediary statistics. This is not a run stats. This is a report on matrix of folders included in the folder. Since these criteria were compiled before the usage of plugins and before knowing if they would be suitable, some nuances came to be. I mean, good and bad things that have nothing to do with previously drawn up criteria. So we decided to come up with a document where we would show the plus side and the minus side. The plus side would include speed, and the minus would include things that we found uncomfortable to work with. So this is the plus side. Let's review some of the cases. This is not a full table yet. We followed the procedure of the company in presenting the minuses, but I guess they could be suitable for other companies as well. While some of these things are available across plugins, others not. Linking an issue to a variety of cases. For example, we need to link or block a dozen of cases that it blocks. But unfortunately, this is possible to be done only in Zephyr. In other plugins, you have to do it manually. Automated sync of test cases. If a test case is no longer relevant, it needs to be updated, or a new version needs to be created, and it is done. It is inserted in automatically in current runs. In some plugins it is manual, in others it is automated. And let's talk about the deficiencies, potential problems. The biggest issue was that some plugins were designed to test products in their own JIRA project, and all reports and metrics would be derived from that, which would reflect upon my company negatively. Therefore, QA Space and Zephyr were the plugins that wouldn't serve our purpose. As for SynapseRT, it was more preferred, but there were also some issues, and the support guys couldn't help us out. We couldn't insert issue type case, and the settings were not available, so we couldn't manipulate it too much. So this is a completed table on key criteria for selective choice. There's also a test link column to see if the criteria we selected is in line with the test link results. It gives you a pretty good visual representation. So we opted for Adaptivist test management. The price is provided for reference. This information is publicly available. This was our selection, and we had to give it a push forward to convince our management to use it. The first thing we had to do was to agree upon a budget. I mean, to switch from a free of charge instrument to the one you have to pay for. So we had to provide the benefits and the value of a new tool. So let's start with the switching benefits. Some of the hardware will be relieved, so the burden will be taken off. It will be 24/7 vendor support. If you have any issues, you go straight to vendor without using any of your resources. Access to new tool is provided to everyone who already has JIRA access, and it's possible to administer access rights. It will be the only tool for transparent management of tools, cycles. The annual fee is $33 per person. Minuses: there is no test link support, no integration with JIRA, and no resource to support updated version of test link. We had to spend resources of testers to fix reports, protocols, and supplementing them with the requisite metrics. The budget was agreed upon. We switched to the new tool in February 2019. And we came across a few issues. Since we viewed it in an environment where computational powers were limited, when we put it in production, we ran into bugs of this plugin. It was impossible to add more than 999 tests in one run. This problem was redirected to the vendor, who quickly remedied it as part of compatibility with JIRA 7, and impossible to delete the first run or test cycle, which already had more than 999 cases. Another unpleasant issue was adding test cases to test cycles. On your left, on the right, you can see information upon launch. Okay, let's take the case with 726 cases. It took about 7 minutes to add cases, which is a pretty long time. Of course, we don't load cases every day, but we don't want to wait that much. So we wanted to report that to vendor immediately. But then we thought perhaps this is a problem on our side. Perhaps we had JIRA and we might have other plugins for other projects.
And we got a task. We instructed our colleagues who worked with the production environment support to automate JIRA somehow. But it's still work in progress, but in fact some progress has been made. The speed has been upgraded by the factor of 2. Now these cases can be uploaded in just 3 minutes. Also, we intend to exceed or expedite the pure environment of JIRA. If it becomes worse, then we'll go to the vendor for the support in this. And equally important for us is to collect feedback from the end users who work with this instrument every day, so that we can learn from them whether this decision to change the instrument was good and whether it went for the better. Let's look at different pie charts. First one is more user-friendly preparation of cases and test management vis-a-vis TestLink. And the bigger percentage of users find it more convenient. Some of them don't care. Other pie chart, whether it is more convenient to run cases in the new instrument or the old ones. Again, the bigger number of users found it more convenient. Some of them made some comments and we individually addressed them. And the final pie chart, I would like to speak more about it. This is how reporting and protocols are prepared. We had a situation when before migrating to the new tool, when we still worked with TestLink, we had regression 1S. It took forever, and report and protocol took us about 2,000 pages, and my colleagues spent like 2-3 weeks to prepare it. If already then we could migrate to the new tool, it would be like 15 minutes. So the reporting time-wise, it saved us like it expedited fourfold. So here, unanimous recognition of convenience. On a checklist, we'll look at the conditions problems that I encountered, and the selected problems and criteria for selection. All the plugins that I looked at were checked against the test environment, whether they would fit our job description. Also, we knew about the assets and benefits of potential problems when encountered during the selection of one of these tools. We have agreed on the budget and have done the follow-up for the migration of the tools and have collected the feedback from the users. Also, those of you who find it interesting, who might want to change their tools for test case management or augment it by installing new ones maybe, you can use the information shown in these links. These links will be made available through QR code at the end of the presentation. That's it. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Aleksey, for your presentation. It was very informative and great. Tell me, please, I have 2 questions. First, how long did it take you to migrate from TestLink to test management? Maybe I missed it. The actual migration or overview of all the solutions and preparation for it, considering review and the introduction. If we consider review, we did it along with other products. I did testing practices, and in my free time I was doing the overview. It took me about 2 hours a day. It took me exactly 15 days. This was most of my vacation time. And the migration between the tools was quite easy. We simply ported it, and we have ported the most critical cases there, which are possible for regression. It took us 1 day. Well, that's great. And herein comes the second question. You showed very good statistics. It's great that you did the survey of people, but did the people say something like somebody revolted, maybe saying, no, we don't want to change the tools? Of course, first time when you tell your colleagues that we're going to use a new tool, it might cause negative feedback. We did some presentations on the test environment, all of us together. We're trying to do it by creating cases, reporting back on them, but it was quite a handy choice, and owing to this based on these metrics, the negative feedback was almost non-existent, and if any, they were related more to the first immersion and people not knowing what to do with that. But the learning curve is quite short. Thank you very much. Yes, looks to be very good. Aleksey, thank you very much for your presentation. You didn't really mention the import of test cases, because it's no secret for anybody when migrating from one instrument to another. This is usually the most painful thing. What was the size of test cases did you have in CaseLink? What was the most critical part, and what did you do with the test link? Did you deprecate it, or do you do it stage by stage because there are custom fields and all other things? Can you tell us about the import? Yes, I understand. Thank you. Initially, we had such a goal. We initially didn't want to import test cases. We thought that we'll start everything from scratch, but fortunately we decided against it, and we decided to migrate all the regression cases. TestLink knows how to download this in XCLV, and all the plugins that we had on the overview were compatible with these formats, and the import of cases from these formats. Adaptivist is one of the broadest one. It can do anything. It can import anything into itself. So there were no problems with the extensions. With the number of cases with the import, again, there were no problems with that. How many cases we had in the test link, I don't remember the exact number now, but I think about more than 30,000 cases. A huge number. We're working with that for 6-7 years. Thank you. Of course, it depends on the tasks. If these are self-care projects, then it took us about 3 runs for different groups. Hello, my name is Sergey. Can you tell me, please, whether this instrument has a possibility of parameterize the launch of test cases like Selma, where we have certain parameters for test case, and before running a particular test, I choose a parameter with which I'll be running it. Can you please explain it further? For instance, we need to check the borderline values. We are not going to write 10 tests with different borderlines and variations. We write only one case, and then we have a table with parameters, and we select the border values. For instance, some allows us to do the test, and before running the test, they can tell you with what parameter you are doing the test. I'm saying with this, the first round with the primary parameter, you launch it again with, it's asking you again what parameter. And there is a history of doing it for all the necessary parameters. As far as this functionality is concerned, I'm not sure, but we do it somewhat differently because each case consists of from graphical steps. If we have a case consisted of the same steps similar to each other, like for instance with the borderline values, we simply do it by steps, or each case can be added a step from another case. A step will be like another test case. Thank you, Aleksey. I come from the company Virtuoso. My name is Yaroslav. My question, why, when selecting these solutions, you forgot about such thing as test striding? Because I think it would fit you very well on many parameters. No, price was not taken in consideration because I'm not responsible for pricing. And at what cost we bought this instrument, I don't know either. In fact, we were selecting only the server plugins. And this was the selection from the most popular rating-wise server plugins, at least at that moment when we were doing this work. Yes, possibly what you mentioned could also be shortlisted. Another question? I'm right here. We recently moved from test trail to test manager, or rather we are in the process of migration. I like it much more because there is parameterization of cases. And I have a question. Did you understand how to export this link of step within a step? How to recall a case, how to record it in what file, XLR or XML, or so it can understand me, because I failed to do this. So you're uploading into Test Manager. Yes, I want to migrate the cases there, import cases there. And in fact, we didn't do this, I didn't try this, but write to me, please. I will try to do it myself, and I'll write back to you, okay? I thought you could do this. You write on Monday, please. Aleksey, hello? Has your company tried to think what happens if you develop your own JIRA plugin? Maybe it can help you save midterm and long term. Well, because one of the possibilities was the company, by following the made decisions, and the company denied even to work with the existing plugin. We were denied to provide the resource for the integration with JIRA TestLink, and we were even denied to update the TestLink to the most recent version. The company would have never issued resources to develop a new plugin. But it's the same resources that they have allocated for the users. I'm just curious whether these costs are comparable or not in 2 years ahead. Did you think about it? No, I didn't. But it's a good question. More questions? If there are no more questions, I suggest that the speaker selects the best question. This question was the comparability of the resources spent and for this coupon you can get a t-shirt on the reception. Let's give it up to our speaker.